Okay, looks like we are connected now. Hi, everyone. So we are starting to get today our presentation for our CYPE plumbing webinar. So we are going to talk about our plumbing solutions from my company, CYPE. I'm Douglas from CYPE International, and I'm here with Maria Adrian. She's our engineer from our technical team. So hi, Maria. Good to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're
I'm
welcome.
glad to be here today and thrilled to show you the CYPE plumbing suite.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to present today many different softwares, right? Not only one software, we're going to show a whole suite of software, which is called CYPE Plumbing. It includes different types of software, and it has mainly two branches, two main areas, which would be the calculation software and the detailing softwares. So we're going to show you these two main areas, and in the middle, we have the schematics software that we're going to show you in the presentation. Right, Maria? Am I right?
That's it. That's it.
Okay, perfect. So shall we start? I think people are going to be connecting little by little, but shall we start the presentation?
Yes.
It's better,
Yes.
right? So please share your screen, and yes, I can see it.
Yeah,
So we are already seeing your screen. So
perfect.
here we have some of our softwares, like I see like water systems, sanitary systems, and different softwares we are going to see later, right? So let's start with the calculation software that we have. You will start, I believe, with CYPE plumbing water systems, right?
Exactly.
Which is our software for fresh water installations. Okay,
Exactly.
let's go ahead and see.
With this program, basically what you do is the sizing of the pipes.
So we can, yes, I know we can do the sizing of the pipes, calculate for the sizing of the pipes, and also the necessary output from the pumps, right? You can calculate all the necessary output of the pumps. Okay.
Exactly, because each of the elements have a need of pressure and minimum maximum pressure. So that's what the program achieves.
So you see, you've opened a big project you have there, right?
Yes, it's more than 70 houses.
So this is more than around 70 departments in different buildings, I see. So you have a general area, you have the general installation and you have the specific houses installations, right?
Exactly. This, on the one hand, this program allows you to calculate any kind of building.
Oh, that's
it could be, I mean, with the size, it could be a one family house from this to what you can see here. And one thing that is important for me also is that it's not necessary to calculate the whole installation. You could calculate partially. For example, I have some examples here of the installations. See, in this case, you can calculate, for example, the common areas. Okay. That's quite common in big buildings, and you know that all the houses or all the apartments are going to be similar, but you are very interested in the common part.
Yes, so, not only all the apartments are similar. I know that some engineers, they prefer, they already know how the plumbing for each house is going to be. They know it by experience, and they just want to calculate the general area as you are showing here. Yes, but you can always in CYPE plumbing create the different areas and calculate differently, right? Exactly.
And this could be the opposite example. If you are interested only in the interior of one of the apartments, imagine it's a house you want to change for some reasons. Okay. It's not necessary to calculate the whole installation. I think that's what gives you an idea of the flexibility of this program.
Yes, I see. Yes. Talking about flexibility, I see that you're working on a 2D view, like a CAD software, yes. But you were working before in a 3D view. So can you show us how can you switch from one to the other?
Yes, of course. Here, when you're working with the program, the feeling you have is a 2D program. It's like really easy to draw. You don't have to worry about anything else. But actually, you are in a 3D environment. Just by moving, you will see that I'm in 3D. In fact.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, it is. I think it is. And yes, very easily you go back to the view I showed you before. Okay.
Yeah, I think that most engineers, they're used to work in a 2D view, like in a CAD software or something like this, and then they had to send the information to somebody else to create the 3D model, and to somebody else to create the budget, to somebody else to create the reports, to somebody else to create the drawings. I think it's really nice to see that you can easily switch from the 2D drawing that you're doing to the calculations, to the 3D view, and etc. That's really
Exactly.
nice.
Here you have everything. So you are really, you pressing the 3D button, you get an idea of what we're talking about, okay? The complete model, and uh, even you
And you
can
can always calculate the heights also, right? The heights of for the installations.
exactly
Okay.
and change anything. In fact, when you can see here that the architectural model, I can make it visible or invisible anytime. So I get that it's very real. I know exactly the route of the installation, the if there's any, well, the total height, uh, everything is
Okay, perfect.
real thing.
Perfect.
Yes.
So could you show us how to do the calculations in the software, how to get started a little bit?
The most important part, because yes, you have already seen that is a program where you draw the installation
Yes.
using, for example, the DWG if you want. It can help you drawing, etc. But this is one step. The drawing is one part, but maybe the most important part is the analysis that the program does. It
Okay.
does the hydraulic analysis of the installation. How
So
do we do
you've
that?
just said that you
Hmm,
can import this information from a DWG. So the
yes,
software, we know it imports DWG format and can work on that.
exactly.
And you can always import some 3D file also, right? A BIM from some BIM software, import the 3D model and keep on working on that, right?
Exactly, the architectural model can be created with our own programs like SAP Architecture or IFC Builder, or
Okay.
it could come from other programs. So we have an, applications especially for that. Uh,
I believe you're
there are
talking.
many ways of starting. Yes, I'm talking about the plugin OpenBIM Revit, for example,
Yes, we can have a special plugin for Revit. Yes.
and also for any IFC. If any of you have an IFC and do not have the program, just the you well as the engineers you are going to do the plugin installation, but you don't have the architectural model, just the IFC. No problem. You can start the program from the project from IFC uploader.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds
and
perfect. Okay,
we
so
start and
you
continue.
can take any IFC and you can adapt the IFC in the IFC uploader, or you can import a DWG. Okay, that's great.
That's it.
Let's keep
That's
on
it.
with the presentation.
Yes,
I think
of course.
everybody got the idea.
Yes, I'd like to show you, if it's okay, the general option button, because for me it's the most important part of the program.
Okay,
From here, uh, first of all, you set the options for the different calculations,
okay,
and even you can see the different equations used by the program. In this sense, the
perfect.
program doesn't have secrets. Okay, it's everything is can be consulted.
Yeah, that's very interesting because there is no black box here, right? We are going to see in the reports later that you see all the calculations made by the program. You can actually check them for yourself and see what it's doing. All SIPE software are the same, right? We always give the equations used in each calculation so you can actually see what the program is doing and check for
Exactly,
yourself.
exactly. So when the program is doing the calculations with the concrete criteria, with this hydraulic analysis, you can see the equations, and then we have this very important part, which is the design and check options to be carried
Okay.
out, where the user can set which requirements is going to have each of the type of pipes. So,
Okay.
for example, I can have a different type of pipe where with the connection to the sanitary appliance. So maybe I want always this particular size of diameter. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, okay, this would be an example that I don't want the program to change diameter. I can set it. I can I can have a minimum and maximum velocity, even set the increase of real length due to accessories. And I can change any other parameter, like one very important, the simultaneity.
Yes.
Okay, this could be
Yes.
changed for the different type of pipes. So it allows me to have different criteria in the same project.
So you can actually do, let's say, with this flexibility, you could do a shopping mall, for example,
Yes,
because
yes,
you have, like, in a shopping mall, you have different types of buildings inside the same building, right? So let's say you have a cinema theater. For the bathroom of the cinema theater, you will need not much simultaneity, but you have a gym besides the cinema theater, and you see that they need all the showers to work at the same time, so they need lots of simultaneity, and you have to
exactly.
work on that, right?
Exactly.
Just to set an example.
That's it. That's it. And compared to the Excel or spreadsheets that are very common in engineering offices, in this program you can combine everything. Okay, it's not in the same file. You could use different criteria, and it's as easy as create a different type of pipes, and then when you are drawing the pipes or in an existing one, select the type you prefer. So
That's
that,
great.
yes.
That's great.
And another,
So
sorry, one of this, before I don't want to forget this because it's quite
yes.
interesting, I think, from my point of view, is the consumptions button. This
Okay.
collection of consumptions, which are by default, I have quite a lot of elements, but these are editable too. So
Okay.
imagine that any brand, well, it's very frequent, and the different brands have their particularities of the person
Yes,
they
yes.
need.
For each brand, you need some special settings.
Exactly. So you can create it from scratch or copy one of the existing one and continue with them.
That
And
sounds perfect. So yeah, always in CYPE, we see that there is a similar interface, and you always go from left to right, from top to bottom. And we're starting with the juiciest part, right? Because
yeah,
here we see that we have in the general options so much flexibility, and this is something that it's hard to see in other softwares in the market. Because as far as I've seen, I know that there are many big companies that still work with Excel files, and they prefer to work with Excel files because they don't get the necessary flexibility to do complex works. Let's say, as we were talking before, for a shopping center, for a big construction site, or something like this, and they prefer to work in Excel files. But they don't get with the Excel file, let's say, the reports, the drawings, the budget, and etc. And in this case, you have all the flexibility needed for any project you want, right? And you also have, I believe, I think we didn't see in the general options, but I believe we also have the national codes,
yes.
right?
Well,
The
exactly.
national codes establish the standards, like the top and lower limit, and then you have the whole flexibility there to adapt any other element, right?
Exactly. And you get at the same time the different pipes catalogs, booster sets, etc. But always with the option of edit by yourself or create new ones. And
Okay.
this work that you do, it can be saved in your computer,
Okay,
and you
you
can
can
use it
save the
anytime.
settings.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect.
Maybe
Okay.
so. Maybe I could show the reports because
Oh, yes, but so let's move on. So once we've set the general options, now we would have to go and calculate. How is the calculation done here?
uh, in these buttons,
So
calculation buttons,
just
we
go
have
to this area, it says calculations, right?
exactly. We have this button, which is the update results, which checks with the diameters that you have selected.
Okay,
So sometimes you have decided what you would like to do, and the program tells you if it's okay or not. Okay,
okay,
makes the checks. And another option is to press the design button. In this
okay.
case, the program changes the diameter in order to comply with the requirements you set.
So
So these two
if you
buttons are
click,
calculations.
if I understood well, if you click this design button, it will do everything for me.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
This is
So
very
you
good.
just set the parameters there, and instead of going pipe by pipe, you just click there, and it will calculate the whole building with the parameters that you have selected, right?
Exactly, exactly. And then if for any reason you want to some pipe diameters to don't change, you can close it and it will not change. Okay. So
Okay,
but that's another.
That's really, really nice. So I can select any tube and lock it not to be changed, and then I can calculate, do the dimensioning of everything else, but automatically.
Exactly. So
That's
depending
really
on
interesting and
the
flexible.
isn't it? Depending on the profile of the user or maybe the situation, it is really, I mean, flexible.
Yes, it can actually adapt to any type of building, any type of circumstance that they might need. And once again, as I was telling you before, this is not something common. This is actually a very good feature of site plumbing that you will not find in the market a lot. Actually, most softwares, they have a preset value, and you can't like select different areas. You can't like select different types of tubes or whatever to lock it and to have it separate from the rest. So this is lots and lots of flexibility. So once you get the calculation, so we've seen here, you set the general options, then you do the calculations as easily as click the dimensioning button. And then once you get the results, can you show us the reports, please?
Yes, of course, here in the reports button,
Okay.
you can get a lot of different reports starting from the design criteria,
Okay.
which includes all the equations used in different analysis.
Yes, once again, we have all the information there, right? All the
Yes.
equations, everything that it has calculated.
Even your own criteria, the criteria used specifically in this project.
Sounds great.
Some here. Yes, I think so
Okay.
too. Then the reports, the different results in the consumptions.
Okay, the results.
Then all the checks.
Perfect.
By.
Can you export these formats?
Yes, of course, you can export to different formats: PDF, docx, text format, txt.
Okay, so you can export and print these reports in different formats that you need.
Yes, and one thing I was showing you one by one, but you can set a collection of reports. I mean, from here, you can select exactly what you want to print. So maybe combine, I don't know, design criteria.
So I can create only one document with all the information needed and then print it, send it to somebody else, etc.
Exactly.
That sounds perfect.
Customize the different combinations of documents. That's
so
it.
Yeah, we can see that the software has very complete reports, also with all the equations, all the information calculated, and you can always export in different formats and print it and create a single file with everything together. That's really good news. So we're talking about deliverables here. We know that every engineer has to deliver the reports, and they also have to deliver the drawings. Could you show us the drawings, which is also something important for every engineer?
That's it. Here from the draw, in this button.
Okay, we're going to the drawings now, right?
Exactly, add a new button and see, this is very customizable too, because you can print everything that is in the file.
Okay.
For example, all the different type of.
Yeah, I can see the different layers of the building, also the different layers of plumbing that you have for hot water, fresh water, etc. But you can always select only one if you want to, right? You can put all together only one. That's it. Here it was everything, even the 3D. But maybe imagine I'm interested in cold water only for the first plant. Okay. And I don't want to show the DX. Imagine. Okay, that's so you take off all the information you don't want to see. You want to create a simpler drawing. Yes. For example. And now you have all the information. That's it. So it's again very customizable and depends on the type of the situation. You can do anything. What is better for you in that situation? Okay, but very, very flexible. So that's great. So we saw that from the deliverables we need for plumbing, we have easily calculated and we generated the reports, and then we generated the drawings, it was really
Yes.
easy. I see that those two buttons up there, right? You have the two buttons up there that you can
Exactly.
regenerate. And then we also said that we can generate the bill of quantities. Could you show
Yes.
us?
Of course, very
So
sweet.
this is the second tab right there. Yes, you have like installation on the left, and now we're moving to the second tab, and we're going to see the bill of quantities now, right?
Exactly. Basically, in the installation, you draw the installation. So here, when this part is finished, you move on to the other tab and pressing the update quantities. So you select a cost database and a
Okay.
mapping, which is well, a connection between the costs and the quantities.
Okay.
And by doing this, the program will generate for you the bill of quantities.
That's great.
And again, it's customizable, and the user can create their own cost database and their own mapping
So
criteria.
that would work actually in any country, with any brand, with any type of building. So we are talking about something that delivers lots of value to a company who is doing plumbing installations here.
I think so.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, I as far as I see, like there are some companies I know, they work, let's say they do their installation, they use some 2D software, some CAD software to do, but they can only do the drawings. And let's say if they are working with an Excel file to do the calculations, it's all disconnected. You have to send information from one to the other, and somebody else has to do the budgeting, and somebody else has to do the reports, and somebody else has to do whatever. So here you just receive the information from the architect. You can receive it in a DWG file. You can receive it in a Revit file. You can receive it in any file, actually, any IFC file. And then you just prepare your installations and you calculate the dimensions you need. You calculate the pumps you need. You can separate by areas, and then you get already the results, the reports, the drawings, the budget, everything so flexible, so easy to adapt to any format, to any country.
Exactly.
I think it's the people who are watching our webinar might be very interested in this. So we've said, sorry.
The program has even animations that helps the user to analyze the results. Is this detail of the flow that you can see the flow in.
Oh yes.
So you get an idea of the process.
Oh, that's good. We can actually see the water flow.
Exactly. Okay, and other tools that I like about the graphical analysis of the results. So this is something, an extra feature, okay, that I think that can be very useful too. So you analyze graphically the results.
So I didn't understand this one. Can you explain this to me?
Yes,
I didn't.
Of course. Once you have calculated the installation,
okay,
you have different results in the pipes, okay, of velocity, pressure, etc.
Yes.
If you need, you can see it graphically. So the program represents in different colors depending on the range of values.
Oh, now I see. So
yes,
it will represent in different colors the different pressures, the different types of flow that you have established.
Exactly. So imagine, so that's something that I think can be very useful too. That depending on.
That sounds great. Okay. That sounds great. Okay. So I believe with this we had an overview of site plumbing water systems, right?
Yes.
So as we said before, this is our fresh water installation software, but we have different software for calculation. So we have, besides site plumbing water system, we have sanitary systems, right, for the wastewater, and we have different software. Is it too difficult? Once I have learned how to use water systems, is it difficult for me to learn how to use sanitary systems?
Not at all. You will find very easy to work from one program to another because they are very similar. Now, you see here the title or the name of the program. This is the sanitary systems, but
yes,
the
appearance is just the same. Yes,
it's really similar. So even the same part, the same types of tasks, installation and bill of quantities. Okay, so this program has the same way, and also the general options with the well, the material equipment
The same flexibility, the same capabilities. It's just very easy, right? But I know that, like, I believe that site plumbing sanitary systems also have some special features that are meant for sanitary systems, right?
Yes, of course. For example, the excavation part. For example, if you see here this in this pipe, we can see the excavation here.
Okay.
Okay. What the program does is that you define several transverse excavation profiles, and the program will calculate the corresponding longitudinal profile, as you can see here, and that's the entire excavation volume of the construction site.
So besides calculating the sizing of the plumbing, it will also calculate the excavation necessary for the sanitary systems.
That's it. And even you can even see that graphically in the 3D. You see here, I can select this part or
yes, it will calculate also the inclination, necessary inclination, etc. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. That's perfect. So we've seen that the interface is mostly the same. We've seen water systems before. I think everybody more or less understood how it works, understood the value that you can get from it. And now we've seen water systems. We know that it has mostly the same interface. We know it gives you also the same values like the results, the drawings, the bill of quantities, and etc., as the same method of calculation and etc. So I think we can like wrap it up and say that we already understand more or less how the calculation software works, right? The calculations group of software works. It also serves, it's not the case today, we're talking about site plumbing, but for site HVAC, hydronics, I think it's the same interface, right?
It is.
Yeah, we have it there. Okay, so yeah, it's actually the same interface you see, very easy to learn. So in the SYPE workflow, you see like we pride ourselves in being very easy, or some software that is very easy to learn. So we keep them in small modules, which you can open in any computer you need. You don't need some special heavy computer, heavy duty computer. You can do it in any program, and they keep the different tasks separately. So you usually have a specialist for water systems, for fresh water, you have a specialist for wastewater, and you see that we have it separate here so people can work at the same time. And if you're working, to have it clogged with lots and lots of information, and you have to look in some hidden tab for the information. It's all clear, simple to learn, simple to use, and simple to get it implemented in your company, right?
Exactly. We don't have this program opening water equipment, which is exclusively to insert the sanitary systems or sanitary equipment, so it can be read by the other programs. So it's really reliable and easy. That's it.
Yes. So this is something interesting. Please show us.
Okay. In this program, is exactly for introducing the wash basin, shower, baths, etc. This is, I mean, it couldn't be easier. And this is connected to self-plumbing water systems and self-plumbing water systems and self-plumbing sanitary systems. So only do it once, and if in case imagine you move an element, this will be updated in the other programs.
That sounds perfect. So if I'm right, if I understood it correctly, so you go here to site plumbing, what is the name of this one? Mechanics, right?
Open water equipment.
Yes, open water equipment. You go to water equipment, you add to the architectural model the different elements, right? You add the toilets, the sinks, and etc. And then site plumbing water systems will find where is the connection for fresh water, and site plumbing sanitary systems will find where is the exit for the wastewater, right?
That's it. That's why in a way like that. So
and it will be like pre-established where is the start and the end. So it'll know that the fresh water flows in one direction and that the wastewater flows in the other direction, because it knows where is the starting point, because it detects in the mechanisms, in the different like elements that you've added, right?
That's it.
So how do they all connect? So once I know we have like fresh water, we have sanitary systems. You've shown us here the I forgot the name, the water equipment. So
equipment? Yes.
yes, how do they connect with each other? Do you have to send the file from one software to the other?
I'm glad that you asked me this, because this is a very important part. And now you see the connection, because you see in the 3D, I was sometimes showing the same building, and people may be asking themselves, why is the same building every time with this? How
Yes, how can you work in the same building? Yes.
I'll show you. Here, as you can see, for example, this is the file from plumbing water systems. Okay. If you see in this part, this is my user in BIMserver.center, and this is the name of the project.
Okay.
We are working in a project. We create projects, and that's why this everything is connected. When I have finished, I mean, I started the first with the architectural model.
Okay.
From there, I started the project, and I did a new file in plumbing water systems connecting to this project. When I have finished drawing the installation and design, I have completed the design of the installation, I just have to press in the share button.
Okay. And so where are you sharing to?
In BIMserver.center, which is our platform.
Okay, so here, everything is connected to the BIM Server Center.
That's it.
That's it.
Now I'm showing you my profile in BIMserver.center, as you can see, and here are my projects. One of these projects is plumbing and sanitary systems.
Okay, perfect.
The one I'm working on now. In this here, I can see the different contributions, which is, for example, what I did from plumbing water systems.
Okay.
Right. And everything I really want. This is okay. This is the installation.
You are seeing the whole installation here.
Yes.
And you can see the 3D view and etc. And this is not even your software. You're just in a web browser, right?
Exactly. That's very important. In this case, what I share here exactly what I want to share. Okay. If you see here is the IFC one. The format is IFC and the GLTF for the 3D. Okay.
Okay.
I can, from the different programs, I can select what I want to export. Okay. So I can, in this case, I have selected that I only export that part, the 3D. And a very important part, I'm sure some of the people that are viewing today the webinar don't want to share their files, okay, their own work, their criteria, etc. They only want to share the results, okay?
Yes.
How can we do that? Because the files, the native files, I mean, the file that you do with plumbing water systems, for example, is safe in your computer. Yes. Locally, okay? You only share the results. And talking about the results, you can select exactly which results you want to share. If you see here, for example, I have selected that I want to share the schematic diagrams. Later, you'll see why. Okay, because I want to continue with that program.
Yes.
It's optional to export the document. Do you remember the name, the report I call document?
Yes. The reports.
Or not, the same with the drawings or the bill of quantities. That's up to the user.
Yeah, so let's talk about the BIM Server Center once again, just to make it clear to everybody. The BIM Server Center is a cloud service that we have in CYPE. It's free of charge. It costs nothing up to a limit, of course. After a limit, you have some different packs, but you can actually share the information between different projects here in the BIM Server Center. So you can actually import from different sources. It could be like a DWG file from ArchiCAD, let's say, or some IFC file, some Revit file, whatever. You can always import into the BIM Server Center. And once you have it there, you can keep on working with any of CYPE software and keep adding different layers. And it's a federated model. So in the sense that you have like different IFCs, And once a specialist has added his layer to the model, no one can touch his work. No one can change what he did. So it's not that like, for example, you do the plumbing installations, and then the general manager or the someone who's reviewing, or the architect, whomever, can go and change what you did. You are actually the owner of the file. So that's important, so nobody can change your work. And besides that, as Maria told us before, you can change, you can share only what you want to share. Let's say, for example, the example that you were showing, Maria, a little bit. I think if you create the general options for the building, and you don't want to share your knowledge, so that you just want to share the results, you don't want them to see the 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 information, your own knowledge, so you can keep that to yourself, because we know that there are other softwares in the market that some engineers, they are not happy because they have to share not only the results, but also their calculations, their own standards, and their own knowledge. So they have to share it to everybody, and they have no option in deciding if they want or not to share that information. So that's really useful. So everything, so we've talked about up to now about these different softwares and how they get connected in the BIM Server Center. So we saw the calculation software for freshwater, for sanitary systems. We've seen the mechanics, or the equipment. Yes, it's water equipment software, which you add and they connect all together there. And you said you were going to show us the schematics. Please show us the schematic software.
Yes. I showed you before how I click the export to schematic diagrams option. By doing that, if I create a new file with a plugin, schematic diagrams, and connect to the project, I get automatically the schematic diagram from the installation. So
that's
here
okay.
I'm
you don't have
results.
to add anything by hand.
No, you don't need to do that. This time we have to do this quick, so I haven't shown you the whole process, but it has been the same thing. Okay, connected to the project with the project, and you see here the installation. This is the installation from water supplying water systems, and automatically I get all of this.
Just to give the step by step to people. So you open the software and you go to Bim Server Center, select the project, and you take the information for you, and you already have the schematics.
Exactly. The only thing I may want to change is the scale. For example, if it doesn't fit the dimension I selected, I can change it, and the factor I prefer. Okay, maybe I want this smaller, or the opposite. Okay, so this is something totally editable again, even the symbols, etc. But by default, it's really quick and fast, and then you get the drawings perfectly.
That sounds perfect. So now we've seen the calculation software, we've seen the schematics, and we wanted to see the detailing software. We said there are two main branches of software. There are many for calculations, and there are many for detailing. Can you show us some of the detailing software that we have?
Sure. I'll show you the results for the same installation now for in the program terrain SDP water systems. Okay.
Okay, you're going. This is OpenBIM Terrain SDP, right?
Exactly. As you see here, I connected to the same project, and then we can see the installation, but with much detail. This is real. I mean, from a specific brand, in this case, Terrain SDP, and this series, the classic system series, an exact model or exact piece. So
what we are seeing here,
what do you see?
So what we are seeing here is the actual parts that we have to buy from this brand, which is Terrain. So this is a very high level of detail. So you have like the actual installations that you have in the building.
Totally. And not only that, I mean, you're seeing this, and of course you can export it to Bim Server Center, etc. But you can also get a report with the material schedule.
So you can get the material schedule with all the parts that you need to buy.
Exactly. The program tells you exactly how many of its
with the reference. Yes, I guess you get the reference of the specific part, so you get actually the specific part you need. Exactly. That's great.
That's it. And maybe I can show you exactly how I did it, because I think it's particularly fast and easy.
Okay, so show us.
People want to see that. Okay, this is finished, but I have saved a previous step.
Okay.
So I wanted to have people understood the process. This is the first step when I have just started. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we had in water systems, right? That's what we had in water systems.
It's, as a matter of fact, it's the plumbing water system installation. If you see here, that's what it is. Okay.
Okay. So we've taken that from a site plumbing water system, uploaded that to the Bim Server Center. You've taken it here, right?
By creating a new file, I could get all this information. And this is here, and you see, is the what I have is that is a pipe and the diameter it has, but it's not from any brand or and it doesn't have the connectors, the different accessories.
Okay.
What I'm going to do now is press in this in generate pipes, and by doing this automatically, I have real pieces. If I can unselect now the water system installation, so this is more clear. Okay. Here are the pipes, and then by clicking in the accessories generation, automatic generation.
Okay.
In this.
I see. Now we have the connections.
Exactly.
So with 2 clicks, you've generated the detailing of all the pipes and all the connections.
That's it. And this is not the only program we have for this kind of thing. We have a program for
now you can just go and print the report with all the different pieces that you need to go and buy.
That's it.
That's really great. That's really great.
So this is done in this case for the water system installation, but we have another for the sanitary systems of the same brand, and then another. For example, from OpenBIM AliAxis.
Okay.
Imagine, well, I think this is quite amazing.
So, Maria, I've received some questions here. I'm reading now, and I'd like to ask you some questions. Could you please help us answer some questions?
Yes, of course. Because I have already shown everything of the program, so let's go to the questions.
Okay, so we've already shown, just to recap everything, we've already shown the calculation softwares, we've already shown the detailing software, and which are 2 big groups with different softwares, right? And we've shown the schematics and also the equipment, water equipment. I always forget the name, the water equipment software. But now let's take a look of the questions that we have here. So some of the questions we might have answered before, and some of those we might need to answer now. Let me check here. So one of the questions is, what does the program calculates? I think we've already answered that question, right? We've calculated the sizing of the pipes, the output necessary from the pumps, and also for sanitary systems, you can also calculate the excavations and etc. Right?
Exactly. That's it.
Another question that I have here. So from which formats can you import the file? So if the architect sends you a file, can you import in a Revit format? Can you import it from DWG? I think we've already answered that too, right? Exactly. Can you please show a little bit?
Yes, of course. The way what this program needs is an IFC with the architectural model, and it could be if you have already the IFC, you can upload it directly from MC Uploader, or if you are using Revit, you could create the project from Revit using this plugin, and then alternatively, you could create the architectural model from our software. For example, IFC Builder or Site Architecture, which are, by the way, free tools. In these programs, if you have the DWG or DXF, it's really easy to create the building, a basic building, or or more complicated, that depends on you, and continue using your programs.
Okay, perfect. So another question that I have here is, if you change something in the model, do I have to start over again? So this is the question. This is the idea. So if you are working in one and you have to do some changes, do you have to change it by hand? I think we've already answered that question, right?
Yes, of course not. If the change is in the architecture, you just have to update. Use the update button, and then the program will read this
And you go
the
to
way
the
it
to
is.
the Bim Server Center and check for the new file, right?
Always,
Get
yes.
updated.
In the contribution part, you can see if there have been any changes. In case, well, because one important thing in with with the platform, you can work by yourself. This project, for example, was done by myself, but this can be done in a work team. So it can be a real situation that I am working in a team. So somebody else has made changes. If that's the case, imagine that somebody is doing the architectural part and decides, okay, I can invite any user I want. Imagine that my colleague who is doing the part of the architecture decides that we need another bathroom for any reason. And I have already done part of the installation, no problem.
Okay.
From what he would do is to export from the program that he's using, for example, some architecture or opening water equipment, depending, okay? The person that made the changes, what has to do is to press in the share button, okay?
Okay.
The moment this is export, if you share, you export to BIMserver.center. Then everybody will see, everybody in the team, of course, will see here in the recent activity that there has been a change. As you can see here, you can see the contribution I have done. It could be in the work team. Okay. The moment I see that there is a contribution updated, I can, from the program I am, for example, the part of the planning, I could press in update and all the changes will be reflected.
Okay,
So
perfect.
that's it. No, of course, these programs are meant to save time to the users.
And I think this is something that what CYPE actually offers to different engineers and company is not only the single software, but the workflow, right? You have a workflow there that you can actually implement in your company and make it so much better in performance, in actual performance day to day. So you can collaborate with anyone who's using any type of software. You just, okay, you have somebody who's using Revit, send it to me, I'll send it back to you. This one is working with, let's say, some CAD software. That one is working with, I don't know, any other of the BIM software that we see in the market. So this is actual BIM and open BIM, because one of the things that I want to highlight to people that you don't actually see is that sometimes to make a project, you have to have a BIM manager, somebody who's creating this 3D view that you're seeing here for the plumbing, and he has to go adding the information. You just calculate, let's say in some Excel file, and it has to add it by hand and create the 3D view. And then if you make any changes, he has to change it by hand. And in this case, it's all connected. Everybody's working together. It's all getting updated seamlessly at the same time. So that's actually how BIM should work. So I have another question here, which is, how about my library? So somebody wants to create their own libraries and they don't want to share it with everybody. So he said, so that was the question I think we answered before about libraries and general options.
Yes, but right? Just in case, I don't mind explaining this in more detail. You can export as the general options window. I mean, everything you have selected can be exported at once in one step by pressing here in the export button. And this allows you to save this in a local path, I mean, your computer, or in a, for example, it can be in a shared folder, but always where you want. Okay, so if you want to share it, maybe in an office, in a big office, you want to share it with your colleagues. It's totally possible. Okay, you export it to a common folder, but always you have control of your data. And one thing you can do that one step for everything, or maybe partially. Maybe you just want to to share your list of consumptions,
Okay.
you can do that from here, only for this part, maybe. So you have control of everything you do.
Perfect, perfect. And the last question I have here, we have to close the webinar at some point. And the last question I have here is actually for me. So the question I've received is, do we have a special offer for site plumbing? And we do. So for this webinar, every time we make a webinar, we make a special offer during the month of the webinar. So we'll have 1 month of 30% off in the whole site plumbing suite, which includes many softwares as we've seen today, right? There are many types of software that it's included in the site plumbing suite, and we'll be able to get them now for a very special price. So that's it. I think with this, we can close the presentation and we can wrap up the webinar that we did today.
Perfect. Before we go, I would like to add that you can reach me and my team anytime by email. Our address is support@cype.com.
So guys, if you want to talk to Maria and ask any questions, just write to her at support@cype.com. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Maria, for helping us today, for showing us all the software. Thanking you guys for
You're welcome.
Participating with us in this webinar. I think it's been useful for us to show a little bit of the software, to get a better understanding of the software we have. And I hope it helps you too. And maybe in the future, you can start working with this software and get some value for your company. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Maria, once again. And I hope to see you soon.
Hey.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.